Well, good morning. Do you know what day it is? Az, do you know what day it is?
It is April 19th, 2023.
It's Hump Day. That's what you saw.
Oh, I'm thinking all about the date. Oh, Wednesday. Yes, it is. Yes.
You're killing me.
It is, yes, it is commonly referred to as Hump Day.
Yeah,
Wednesday.
You ever see the famous commercial? The guy commercial with a whole camel in an office.
No, I haven't seen that one,
Yeah,
but
that
I
one's pretty
definitely
funny.
could check it out.
that one is pretty funny.
Yes, so
5 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to
Yeah.
Island Tea.
Welcome to Island Tea. And we are going to start with the positive quotes again. And I want to share this. You must be the change you wish to see in the world. So you must be the change you wish to see in the world. So if there is something in the world that you're not satisfied about, let's have the courage to change it. Let's have the courage to speak out, and let's have the courage to be that change to everyone as you may be at work. Some of you may be at home. Some of you may be on your way to work. Whether you are listening to us this morning via radio, whether you're viewing and listening via live stream, we welcome you, and we wish that today is going well for you, and we wish that it's going to be an amazing, wonderful, positive day here within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, or wherever you are listening from in the world. So a pleasant morning. Jamster, our discussion yesterday was about the reduced VAT day. And subsequently, after the show ended, I saw a press release indicating that the VAT day has been shift from the 21st of April to the 28th of April, and I am told that there are other added benefits that are going to be. So I am thinking, based on my information, of course, I haven't seen the official release with the information. I have seen persons posting about the change of date. And I just want to say, kudos to the government for listening to what the people of St. Kitts and Nevis would have had to say in relation to that matter, because we know that all of us, if there is a reduced VAT day, all of us would want to benefit as well as best as possible.
Well, that sounds good. So they moved to the 28th.
The 28th of April.
Well, far be it from me to say that we had anything to do with that, but man, but it's good. I mean, it's for the common good. You know. But it raises. Nah, let me leave that. Let me be. Nah. You know what we were discussing last night. Nah.
Yes.
I'll leave that now.
Yes. But let's say, at least someone was listening, whether they were listening here or they were listening to the voices of others. At least they were listening, and because we said that such a close date, with no real information being given prior, would have put persons in at disadvantage. And although it's a week extension, we are grateful that there is an extension. Of course, we hope that in the future we are given much more time in order to prepare ourselves, because we want to take advantage of these reduced costs to us.
So here
reduced costs to us.
Here now, I'm ordering my cards today, right?
Yes.
But they might they'll probably come before that day, I think. Because if I order them today, I'm sure they're gonna come next week. So but still, the company has a discount, so at least I'm getting a discount.
Yes.
But,
and I look forward to see what the criteria would be as well, because I am told that there might have been a change in the criteria. Remember, only certain stuff were eligible. And the last occasion when the release was when the press release was issued, and so I am told, and we await for the official word to see what items are eligible for this.
So I guess it's safe to say that the talk about maybe the limited utility of it maybe took hold, and they decided, because it makes sense. And I gotta say big up to the people. If I wish you guys would listen all the time, because we're not all just speaking out of the other orifice. We're all, well, me anyway. I don't know about Azard, but I know me. I know me. I'm about the common good, the greater good, and when I give a criticism, it's not about me. It's about the greater good, and that's. I mean, you would like to think that's why people get into politics, right?
Yeah, for the
For
greater
the greater
good.
good.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we see that some persons enter politics either for maybe the hype, maybe for the popularity, maybe
Yeah.
for self-enrichment. But
Yeah.
of course, it ought to be for the greater good. It
Uh,
ought to be to make a difference in the land of St. Kitts and Nevis or whatever land you
And,
wish to serve in.
and it's important for politicians to also understand that you're going to have intemperate critics and you're going to have critics who have a point. And you can't treat them both the same,
Yes.
right? Intemperate and people who maybe, what they call them? The low information. You're going to have low information and intemperate critics.
Yes.
So some people criticize on a surface level, and you could tell they really didn't
Yes.
give the issue much thought.
Yes.
Then you have the critics, who I would say are usually critiquing rather than criticizing,
Yes.
and those are the ones who you should probably listen to in good faith, listen objectively, and if they're making sense, see what it is you can change for the greater good. It's always for the greater good. It should not be about people. About individuals. Am I making sense?
I think you are. That's
Okay.
so just looking at the news, something we didn't touch yesterday is that St. Kitts and Nevis diplomat kidnapped in Haiti, and there's a article, and I know this was published before, and I know we have had some discussion on it. Just to those persons who are listening who might not have heard about it before, there's a St. Kitts and Nevis diplomat that has been kidnapped in Haiti. A source close to the Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, confirmed. And so I know, based on my information, this I think would have been around the weekend, maybe around Saturday, I think. Well, it says that the Vice Consul of St. Kitts and Nevis was among 3 people kidnapped by armed bandits in Haiti on Saturday, based on the article. And so I think that there was perhaps statements made by the members of this government in relation to it. But just for persons who might not have known, yes, there has been a kidnapping of a St. Kitts Nevis diplomat in Haiti.
Yes, and well, we hope that gets resolved. We hope that gets resolved soon. And we also had Ralph Gonzalez defending. He had wide-ranging comments at a public health discussion around crime.
The regional symposium on violence as a public health issue, the crime challenge. It's interesting. You're looking at it from a public health issue, and it was in Trinidad and Tobago, and it began on April 17th and is expected to end on April 18th, which was yesterday. CARICOM heads through discussions aim to address growing violence in the region at the 2-day symposium. I mean, we have seen
look at this paragraph here. Persad Bissessa, Gonzalez's comments came on the heels of criticism from Kamala Persad Bissessa, the opposition leader in Trinidad, where she told reporters at the opening of the conference that crime is not a public health issue, but she agrees it causes public health issues. That sounds very. She doesn't seem to have the breadth of. Let me say the breadth of perspective I would have thought she would have as a former prime minister. You know, it is a public health issue. If you get shot, or you get you suffer any crime, it comes with stress and maybe despair and pain and sickness, incapacitation. I mean, that's a public health issue. How doesn't she get that?
Well, there were some comments made by the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in relation to the whole crime, and I think he touched as well a little, I want to say a little flick to opposition members or opposition arms. We could play the clip and we could hear what the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, had to say at the symposium on that matter.
Here we go.
The bulk of young males are making us very proud. Let us never forget that. But the media, no. As soon as there is one murder, it is front page and they talk about it. But the thousands of young people who do well, you don't get that kind of a coverage. If you get the coverage, you get it on page 40. You know how that goes. And meanwhile, politicians, opposition politicians, or would-be politicians, who, including some journalists, who want to be politicians, but are not brave enough to come into it. They spit to the wind, and they begin to talk all kinds of general thing, and is Rowley fault, is Philip fault, is Ralph fault, and all that sort of thing, and give us a chance, and we will do better. They have no plan, nothing at all. You know that, and I know that, and the public knows that, and we have to call out that kind of a foolishness when we hear it, because we need to have a mature conversation, which is what this is about. A mature conversation based on fact. Around the region, opposition parties are saying, I want to work with you in dealing with crime. Don't believe that at all. The opposition parties are interested in the following things: to oppose, to expose, and to depose constitutionally. They don't have anything to propose. I haven't heard any of them proposing anything. And they can fool other people. They're not fooling me. I'm too long in this game to be fooled with these kinds of considerations. We need to have a mature, realistic contribution.
So what do you think?
I think, based on what you said in relation to the former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, when she said, based on what you had said just a while ago, about it not being a public health issue, I think that I am now minded to think that the comments about the opposition may have been perhaps guided towards opposition who oppose in that same light to that discussion.
Or meaning the other opposition in Trinidad.
Yeah.
So it's more about
I think
opposing the other opposition in Trinidad as opposed to opposing Mr. Rowley.
I think he means both, but I think that...
Well, I meant
Kamala. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he it's general, but I think that the fact that he said it based on what you have read with her article or her statements, I think that maybe he was trying to hit at that specific target, although he's trying...
Because you mentioned Rowley. So, I see your point. I see your point.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
If it is that she made that article during the time and he would have read it, then it could be inferred that maybe that jab was not only general but specific to that. But I mean, generally, when we look at opposition, do you think that oppositions just oppose for opposing's sake?
A lot of the time, yes. I have to say frankly, yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's bad. I feel like, I actually feel, listen, my take is, you might say I'm idealistic, but my take is, if a government is doing well, and I'm the opposition, maybe it just mean I'll probably have to wait a little longer.
Yeah.
But I would never oppose for opposing sake. In fact, I would affirm when affirmation is needed. Because at the end of the day, we're all citizens of whatever nation it is first. We weren't born into parties. Everybody sees things differently. Let Johannes take a
Let's
couple
take a
calls.
call. Yes.
Call. Okay. Let's go to the other call. Caller, go right ahead. Island T.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Yes, there's no question that crime is a public health issue. But at the same time, we have to be careful not to pigeonhole it, make it seem as if that is the only issue with crime. Crime is a political issue, as Dr. Gonzalez indicated, right? Shouldn't be, but it is. It's an economic issue because of how much we spend on it, and obviously it is a societal problem. In other words, crime is a complex problem, and it's going to require multiple solutions. Okay, there's no one. If you pigeonhole it and says it's just a public health issue, I guess there are specific solutions for public health issues which may not take into account the reality of the complexities of crime. Okay, that's the first thing. What you just said speaks to the philosophy behind the whole thing in terms of what is it we should be looking at when we talk about an opposition. We right now, I think we're having a kind of dilemma where some people are uncomfortable with, for instance, the Premier of Nevis, who is the Premier of Nevis, who is the opposition leader.
Yes.
Yet he has to work in collaboration with the government. That, I think, is walking a tightrope, because obviously he may feel not inclined to aggressively pursue the role of opposition leader for fear that it might encumber his attempt at rapprochement with the Prime Minister. Okay, so you see the quandary there, right? Generally speaking, I think in our parliamentary democracy, you refer to it as the loyal opposition. Well, the opposition is expected, as Gonzalez said, right? They expose and oppose, and what was the other one he said?
Depose by law.
Oh, depose. Well, they are, after all, fighting for power. They're fighting to be in government. Mm-hmm. So, yes, those are roles of opposition as well. The proposed part of it is also important, right? There should be consultation with the opposition. There should be vigorous debate in the House of Assembly, right? Mm-hmm. But you know also the problem there. It's a competitive area, and well, if the opposition is going to be proposing measures that would supposedly help the government, right, then they'll always be in opposition, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a quandary also. So I guess there's a mix somewhere, a happy medium somewhere, but I think right now we're still struggling to find it. And to be quite honest, right now, I think the three things that Gonzalez mentioned as the role of the opposition, you can't ignore them. Those, I think, need to be the prime reason or raison d'etre for the existence of the opposition. Right? We can't do without an opposition. We can't have, everybody is not going to fall on the same page. There will be lots of different ideas, competing ideas, and I think that is the best way for our democracy. One one size or one idea or one type, one proposal for different issues. Okay, there are multiple ones, and hopefully we end up with the best one. Okay, but that is what competing is about. That's what democracy is about. All the ideas contend, and the people decide on where they want to go, who they want to go with. Okay, that I think is how a functioning democracy should work.
Let me ask you a question. That clip is 2.5 minutes, and it has all sorts of things in it, but we're only concentrating on. You know, at the very top, he said that more young males are being productive and functioning citizens.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think about that?
No question.
Okay.
That of course, and I agree that the press, opposition, etc., hype up the bad examples.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The thing is, both speak for themselves, the bad examples and the good examples. And we would expect in a functioning society where most people grow up well socialized, that you would have many more of the young males following the straight and narrow, as opposed to those who choose a different path. But the thing is, those who choose a different path is jeopardizing the rest of society, okay? And so they would quite naturally have to have some kind of intervention to stem that, all right? It's okay for most of the young males who grow up basically adhering to societal norms, right? That's good, and that should be encouraged. But I don't think just encouraging that, rewarding that, and they do get encouragement and rewards. It's not, it's not as if they don't either. It's just that the other side gets more.
You know, that point we were discussing now made me think of that unfortunate incident with the young black boy who got shot. And
right.
This guy, apparently so it speaks to the point that you take the racists, a lot of them, they just see a black person and they just lose their minds. I mean, you see a black guy comes and knocks on your door and you shoot him twice. It turns out that the guy's a very bright guy. Apparently, he's interested in doing chemical engineering in university. So it's not like not that it would make a difference whether he was like a bad boy or a bookie type person. But the point is, this is the problem.
And the thing is,
the media drives the narrative.
It could have happened to anybody.
Exactly.
That is the frightening thing. Yes, as you point out, it might not be. It might have been somebody else. It could have been you being there on a vacation and getting lost or something. It can just happen to everybody else, and this is what you get when you have people stereotyping other people. Right? This is exactly what you get.
Exactly, and the media driving this narrative that if there are 100 black people on the earth, 99 of them are criminals, and so
right. Exactly, stereotyping.
Exactly.
When you stereotype like that, you always have these kinds of problems. But it's something that again, how do you deal with that?
Yeah.
How you can't change people's hearts.
Semi-facetious question now.
But you can certainly prevent institutionalized racism.
Okay, 829. I have a semi-facetious question.
And of course, make sure that there are punishments for things like that.
Okay.
Don't sweep them under the carpet.
Okay, I was saying... No, wait. I was saying, before you go, semi-facetious question based on the other point you made. You think a lot of reporters are frustrated politicians?
Azard.
I honestly, when you look at it,
seriously though, reporters have a particular role, and it is, about the fourth estate.
Yes.
And it's
media.
more a case of holding power to account,
Yes,
more
accountability.
so than propping up people in power. And so I would expect the media people, reporters, etc., to lean more on the side of the opposition, okay? Because as Gonzalez said, expose and that sort of thing, that is absolutely necessary if we are supposed to have good governance and open and transparent government and holding everybody to account. Okay, so I mean, we laugh at it, but it's actually a serious question. How does the media personnel fit into the overall picture in terms of, let's say, the questions they ask at press conferences, the editing of things like their news, those sorts of things. All those are important, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
All
great.
right.
Okay, we
Okay,
got it.
thank
Yeah,
you
that
so
was
much.
great. We're going to take a little break.
Yes.
And we're going to come back.
Have you seen that post about Kayla in Snapchat? Lol, too funny.
What is funny about them spreading lies?
You can be so uptight. It's all in good fun.
It's only funny when it's not about you.
I heard it's true. Plus, they have video with her and 2 guys from my class.
Look, stop it.
Don't tell me what to do, baby sister. You can be such a pain.
Pain or not, stop saying those things about my friend. She's hurt enough as it is.
This is too good not to share.
Give it to me.
Mom, tell Lisa to give me my phone.
I don't care.
Give it to me.
No, she's in the hospital. That stupid video and all those mean things you all have been saying got to her. She tried to kill herself. So no, I won't give it to you.
Are you being cyberbullied, or do you know someone who is engaging in cyberbullying? Don't keep silent. Talk to a teacher, guidance counselor, your parents, or a trusted adult who can help. Break the silence. Remember, reporting is not snitching. This message is brought to you by UNICEF, UK Aid, Crime Stoppers, and this station.
King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas, announces king-size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts. We have the best service and competitive rates on LCL and FCL cargo, including D&E containers, cars, heavy equipment, buses, boats, and barrels from Miami to St. Kitts. LCL pickup service anywhere in the U.S. Call local agents SL Horseman & Company Limited at 869-465-4086 or 869-662-5008 for further details. King Ocean's king-size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts Nevis. King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Music's finest artists converge in Bastille from June 22nd to June 24th for the 25th hosting of the St. Kitts Music Festival. Hitting the festival main stage will be Skillybang, Chronix, Coffee, Byron Messiah, Anthony B, Governor, Romaine Virgo, TJ, Valiant. Them boy don't got no body. Grand Masters, Collision Band, Small X Band, New Vibes Band International, Mr. Bagdal, Akai You Sweet, Preedy, Guess the Band, Ricardo Drew, Patrice Roberts, Skinny Fabulous, Nyla Blackman, Status. Erica Edwards, 313 Family, Gramps Morgan, Nitra B, Ear Supply, Dexter Daps, and Burner Boy. It's the 25th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival from June 22nd to June 24th at Warner Park. An experience like no other. Tickets are now available at stkittsmusicfestival.com.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
And we're back on Island Tea. It's 8:35.
Yes.
Don't forget, coming up at
9:30 and 9 o'clock. We have
9 o'clock.
the farm report at 9, and at 9:30 we have the St. Kitts Music Festival Committee would be here, and so we would be here and we would interview those persons on the committee, asking those questions. And of course, you have your call in. You can also be a part of the discussion here at Win FM, the Island Teen morning program. But Jam, so before we go into that discussion on the second half of the program, there was a virtual seminar. There was something on the Social Security. Social Security is celebrating, I think this year, its 45th year. And as a result of that, they have been speaking about the future of Social Security, and they have also had some discussions as it relates to some reforms that are to be done to the Social Security program as we have it here. If you look at France is going through a period in which it's a bit chaotic over there. If you look at the news as it relates to the increase of the pension age.
The bill has actually passed, though. So
yeah, they did. They did it in that. I think the way in which they did it was within their legal right, but it was as though it felt. I think he used some veto power to get that done. Rather than in normal chain, he used some veto power to insist that was.
You remember last night we were discussing with reference to our VAT issue here.
Mm-hmm.
Remember last night when I was saying sometimes governments can't be swayed by public opinion, especially when the public opinion may be uninformed,
yes,
maybe intemperate, and maybe just surface level, and they don't understand how politics works. So I'm getting the impression that Mr. Macron saw that people don't agree, but this is the best thing to do. In the long run, it's gonna probably redound to France's benefit. So the fact that he went ahead and did it in spite of all the opposition, I think says a lot. I don't know if all politicians here are necessarily that. I don't know if they're necessarily vertebrates in that sense a lot of the times, because I find a lot of times. I mean, like I remember when we had the issue about. We're gonna play the clip now, but I remember when we had the issue about. You remember the issue with the vendors on the side of the street.
Oh yes,
and so on,
yes.
And like when I would talk to people about it, like the older folks, my mentors, and so they would say, well, the government is probably afraid to do it because they're afraid of the backlash. But my thing is, no, you have to do what you have to do. If we have laws, the laws have to be enforced. And if there are not laws for a particular issue that is causing a problem, then create laws and implement the laws and enforce the laws. We let's face it, the general public isn't always right about. I think they're probably right most of the time, but there are times when people's pushback on certain issues are governed by selfishness, I think, rather than looking at the bigger picture and saying, okay, maybe.
You don't think perhaps then, you don't think that maybe we had a little of that in St. Kitts and Nevis during the COVID period where we had, the former administration led by Timothy Harris, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, where we had regulations in place, and there were a lot of, opposition to that, but we still had those regulations enforced when it came to curfews, when it came to social distancing, when it came to not having persons on the streets. Even though persons would have voiced their opinion, they had memes, they had clips when you say, 14 more days. Persons, he at that point in time put down his foot, and whatever regulations were to be adhered, he and his team ensured that.
That's how you lead.
So I think I think I could see that instance where that will happen, because I mean, to get Kittitians and divisions off the street during that time, because Kittitians and divisions, they're festive people, they're social people, and to ensure you had that order during that time.
But there you saw the rampant selfishness and self-interest from the critics. Sometimes tough love is needed. When you're a servant leader, you have to put your foot down and like, hey boy, I'm gonna be buffeted until we get past this, but this is the best thing. They're not seeing it now, but this is the best thing. You just have to put your foot down.
You remember the zoning areas where you had this zone and that zone. I think even during that time when there were, a time of uncertainty based on, and then you listen to the broadcast in the evening, sometimes the broadcast, everybody's at their station looking to see what he's going to say as it relates to that. So I think during that period, we had some, authoritative approach, and even though we had criticisms about it and persons, we had that all-inclusive, So I think that when you say about that stood out in my mind.
Yeah, and
I figured I'll say.
And the Social Security issue, I mean, it's like the clip that we're going to hear now. I mean, it's good that, and the fact that this is coming up in so many nations. It's come up in the U.S., France, Barbados, where they're Canada. They're thinking of raising the age because of you realize what they consider old keeps getting deferred, and that's really what's going on. I mean, because when we were kids, what was considered old is not old now.
Yeah, like when I look at it, because I mean, when you look at the picture and you look at technology, and we have so much knowledge now. I think that if you choose to, because of the knowledge that you have, you could have a longer life and a more healthier life based on your knowledge. And we're seeing that persons in their 60s, 70s, they are still, a lot of persons are still active. And they have their mental faculties in order. So they're able to rationalize, they're able to have conversations, they're able to do work. A lot of persons are able-bodied,
and people, even when they retire, they're working longer because they're trying to stay active.
Yeah, and I like what you said. Some persons might retire from the civil service, but they then go into maybe their own small business, so they're still, contributing in some lights. And I don't think a lot of persons after retirement just the majority of them just sit at home because persons like to be active.
Well, let's get to the meat of the issue. The future of our Social Security system. So give me the setup for this conference. When was it held? Yesterday or?
No, it was held. It's actually within this month, April 4th. I think is when it was held. So it sometime has passed, but the conversation is still relevant.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it's Marilyn Johnson speaking on the future of our Social Security system.
Just a clip of it. Of course, you could find it on their Facebook page.
Just under 5 minutes long. Yeah.
So how does the St. Kitts and the Nevis Social Security look like today? The fund is currently at $1.7 billion. We have about 29,000 active insured persons, and in 2020 we had 1,900 paying employers. In 2022 we paid almost 28,000 persons benefits, totaling $131 million. Currently we pay about 8,000 pensioners monthly to the tune of $10 million. Many citizens in St. Kitts and Nevis depend on Social Security as their main source of income, especially during old age. Social Security has been successful in mobilizing resources which contribute to economic stability in our federation. And so The question is, what would our federation be like without a social security system? But like any other mature social security system, we have our challenges. The social security is mature. It is a partially funded social security system, benefit system. And so, like most social security systems that are mature, we have reached what we call our first inflection point. That is, our contributions are less than the benefits that we pay. And that's a challenge. The number of contributors per pensioner continue to decline. In a pay-as-you-go system, the current workers finance the pensions of the current pensioners. And over the years, the number of pensioners per contributor continue to get less and less. The number of contributors per pensioner gets less and less. We have also seen an increase in benefits expenditure as more and more people qualify for old age benefits and at a higher rate than before. Then we have the issue of non-compliance and collection of contributions and monitoring of employers who deduct the Social Security contribution from the wages of their employees and pay it into Social Security. We have to have a rigorous system of monitoring the employers to ensure that they comply with the Social Security regulations and pay the required contributions so that we can finance the benefits for our insured persons. Then we have an increase in the informal sector, and as this sector grows, it is difficult to monitor them and to get them to pay their Social Security contributions. And recently, we have had the effect of COVID-19 on expenditure and contribution income. We also have seen the need to improve our investment performance. Social Security is financed by contributions and investment income. And once the contribution income is less than the benefits being paid, the rest of the benefit is financed by our investment income. Soon, if our benefits expenditure exceed both our contribution and investment income, we will start to deplete the Social Security reserve.
And that's Ms. Marilyn Johnson, weighing in on the future of our Social Security system.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we could open up the phone lines to callers if they have any opinion on what has been said. I know we have pensioners, we have persons who are aging towards pensionable age, and so they may have their opinions on it.
I think maybe we should. I was actually last night I was thinking we should probably try and well, I know they come here.
They do come.
They do come, but I would have loved to hear exactly how they invest the money. What? No. I mean, it's a fair question, right?
It is.
I remember someone told me one time that they would invest on the markets in the U.S.
Yes.
So which makes sense. Because there's some surefire ways to make that money grow. I mean, things like electrification of cars and other things is on the rise. So, just for argument's sake, they could invest in things like lithium and there are a lot of ways.
It's a valid question.
But I would like to hear. I would really like to hear.
Yes.
How the money is being invested.
Yes.
But it's like pulling teeth, asking some of those questions around here. Everything is a secret. I mean,
I know, right?
I would like to think it's our money. We should
Yes.
know. We would like to know how you're
Yes.
trying to get the money to grow. I mean, I think that's fair.
Yes.
But I imagine they're gonna have to look at raising the age here as well.
Probably something for consideration, indeed.
What struck me is when she said 10 million a month, and that might be just in reference to those. I mean, there might be other things that they have to pay. I mean, that's a lot of money.
And when she made mention of the benefits that persons are receiving, Social Security, and then the input. So it's really a discussion that has to be had, and really important and tough, I guess, decisions will have to be made to ensure that there is some longevity of our Social Security funds, also some innovation as well.
Caller, go right ahead.
Greetings. Thanks for the information flowed so far in Island Tea. I really think that Social Security should invest heavily in agriculture. It's a win-win. It balances out things, economics and health. I really think that is the way to go. I'm not doing so. I tell you. But that is the way to go. We can't go wrong there. We are 40 or 60 or 32, and we'll be good to go. Invest heavily in agriculture and set it as it ought to be set. Blessed love.
Thank you so much for your contribution and your thoughts on the matter.
Yeah, well, okay, well, yeah, that's one thing that they could certainly do. I mean, it would also be interesting if they invested some of that money in agricultural futures as well, like wheat and other markets around the world.
Indeed,
surefire.
I think as we develop, we'll need to become more innovative as it relates to how we can actually grow that money.
Caller, go right ahead.
Good morning, fellas.
Good morning.
Quite interesting that she make mention of the income from those working people versus the paying out for those who are retired.
Yeah, that was significant.
And she's saying that her paying out exceed her income.
Yep.
But she said what is tapering in that half is the investment return. And she mentioned that there are some people who are collecting Social Security on behalf of the employee and then are paying into the fund. That is kind of slack in lackadaisical, and that is not really good. The Social Security need to take up that very vigorously. The other thing is that those investments that we have outside, I must say, because I'm part of the Social Security system,
yes,
is that some of them are apparently not giving in, turning in any returns. They just be and they're just what you call dormant, or you could say stagnant, if you like. So, what is the position on those? What are they doing to make sure those are rekindled and the expectation of the return? Because I think Beacon Heights is one of them, Kittish Hill might be one. And are they sinking deeper away from Social Security because they're getting so high, polluted in debt? Are they, someday they might make a return. So I think she could go further in that, if anything. But, I'll leave those to the reporters to ask the questions.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you. So, Social Security. If there are no other callers at this point, just some way of information. We're looking at the region and in the Bahamas. We recently had the Carifta Games played and held in the Bahamas. Here it says Deputy Prime Minister calls rape allegations against MP serious. So 20 hours ago, there was an article published by Loop News indicating that the Deputy Prime Minister Cooper expressed his confidence in the Royal Bahamas Police Force to investigate criminal matters without bias, as he commented on claims that a member of parliament sexually assaulted a woman earlier this month. So Cooper told reporters that the claims made against his progressive Liberal Party colleague were some very serious allegations. And he goes on to say, quote, "I am certain that the police will investigate aggressively. We believe in the rule of law, and we are confident that the due process will prevail and that the police will do their jobs," he said. And the MP remains unnamed. He was accused of sexually assaulting a woman at her home on April 4th. The woman, who shared a 2-year relationship with the politician, told local publication, The Tribune, that it was not the first time he abused her. And he went on to quote and say, "The relationship has been good, but it's always been verbally abusive." She claimed the physical didn't start until September or October of last year, when there were 2 incidents where he choked me until I passed out, she said. There was another incident when he poked me in the eye, in which he said was an accident, end of quote. So she told the newspaper that the MP barged into her home on the night of the sexual assault. She says that he forced her into her room, ripped off her jeans and her underwear, and forced himself on her. Before leaving her residence, he said to her that he came to kill them, but not enough of the family members were in the yard. That's what she said. He came and said that. The woman, who is now fearing for her life, accused police of dragging their feet in the matter.
Wow. Okay. I wanted to squeeze in one more. Hey, I wanted to squeeze in one more story. Hey, Candy. Candy's here.
She's here, yes.
Yeah. So I wanted to squeeze
Candy,
in one
the
more
second
thing.
half is yours. Here in Jamster.
I wanted to squeeze in one thing
Yes.
before we go to Troy. Farm report coming up next. It's 3 minutes until 9 o'clock. 5 Caribbean writers shortlisted for Commonwealth Short Story Prize. You know, I'm big on reading, and I really think people should read more. But I think it's interesting that stories submitted by writers from Guyana, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and the Bahamas have been shortlisted for the 2023 Commonwealth Short Story Prize. So it's good to see that there are people actually writing, and to get to that actual writing, you have to read.
Yeah.
Because you have to, you have to imbibe all this reading, and then you get a sense of how narrative acts unfold, and then you apply them to maybe whatever experiential input you're going to use to create that story.
Yes.
So, yes, folks. So you can go to Loop News and read about that if you're interested. 5 writers. So I guess we can expect books from Alexia Tolas. Her story is called Where the Winds Blow. No, sorry. Her stories are The Ovelias at Benzie Hill Dump. That's by Alexia Tolas. She's from Bahamas. Where the Winds Blow by Cosmata Lindy from Guyana. Road Trip and Fall by Demoy Lindo from Jamaica. Okoi by Kwame McPherson from Jamaica. And Thief. Thief from Thief by Deborah Matthews from Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
So reading and writing is alive and well in the Caribbean.
It is. Wonderful news. So we will join you on the second half of the program. Unfortunately, I have to go, and we see that, Candy is here. She had an engagement in the morning, and now I have one. So,
yes, she's here.
Luckily we have that exchange.
So maybe you can seat Troy for me.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, he's outside. Okay,
yes,
cool.
No problem.
Do you want to improve the quality of your water? Is buying bottled water costing you a fortune? Say no to bottled water and yes to Tap Water Caribbean and Espo Water Solutions. We offer eco-friendly filtration products such as our Ultra Filter or our Bottle Pro for at home or on the go. Fill up anywhere. We also have a Shower Pro designed to protect and give you healthy skin. Visit us today at tapwatercaribbean.com or on Facebook and Instagram. Let's drink clean, pure, healthy water together. Remember, go green, save money, and save our planet.
Never sounded like this.
Radio never sounded like this, sounded like this.
98.9 Win FM.
It's 9:01, and this day part is brought to you by Tap Water Caribbean, and it's time for Farm Report. We've got Troy Flanders and my favorite co-host. That's gonna get me in trouble, but yeah.
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing?
We're doing good.
I was out for yesterday, I think it was. Yeah, just yesterday. But I'm back, full force. And we have with us today one of our favorite farmers. So I don't think I'll get
Troy,
in trouble for that. If the rest of them want to be called favorite, they'll come, right?
Exactly.
How are you doing today, Mr. Flanders?
Hi, good morning. Good morning to all out there listening. I'm good. I'm pretty okay.
So I was, just before we started, I was asking him about the sweet potato melee because as we all know, that was the day where we had rain, hail, thunderstorm, everything. Stuff that I've never even seen here. We had all of that. So have you guys scheduled a new date, time, place?
Well, I cannot speak on that because that's a different COP.
That's my other favorite farmer.
Yes.
That's his thing.
That's the COP.
Well, Mr. Morton, if you're listening, we would like to know because we were all hyped up to go to the sweet potato melee.
I'm actually here this morning. I'm representing the St. Kitts Nevis Farmers Consortium.
Oh.
Yeah.
So when you say consortium, is it a mixture of co-ops?
Yes, co-ops, everything.
How many?
Well, we actually in recruitment, and the numbers are looking very well. We had a meeting last week and one the week before, and the numbers just keep rising. So it's going in the right direction.
Wow. So how many co-ops and groups are you currently representing? How many are you speaking on behalf of right now?
To be honest, it's about maybe 2 or 3 co-ops with us, and then we have individual farmers. Yeah. But the consortium, we have a core group, maybe about 6 to 7 farmers.
Okay.
Yeah. But the numbers are looking very well, and people are very interested in what we are doing. And for the first time, we are getting the attention of the authorities.
Lovely.
Because they realize now that we are coming together, and we actually lobbying on behalf of the farming community.
You guys mean business.
Yes.
And I'm happy to hear that because I remember one of the things I was saying the first time I met Mr. Morton, and I think the other farmer was Aya Man. I'm not sure if I'm...
Aya Man.
Yes. And, you know, one of the things I was saying, and I think we went to break, we all took off our headphones and we had a little thrashing out in here, and then they came back and they saw us just going at each other. But one of the things I was lobbying for was for you guys to get together. I was actually saying the only way that they will really pay attention is if there's a big group of you guys saying the same thing at the same time. So I'm extremely excited to hear this. And I know you guys have big plans for the co-op and for pushing farming. So Kudos. I can only wish you the best and hope that more farmers come on board.
Yeah, I'm here actually appealing to the farmers to get involved in the consortium. We last night we had a meeting with the PS, and it was a very good meeting. And they're actually looking forward to meet in short time. They want to meet with us again. So.
And I know agricultural day is coming up. I think it's
Open Day.
Open Day.
Yeah,
Agricultural
sometime
Open
next
Day.
week.
Right, the 27th to the 28th. Are you gonna be there with your products on display, or?
No, I will just go there as a farmer and as just a citizen. Yeah, I probably might just be talking to other farmers, trying to recruit them to the consortium.
Right.
We'll be there.
So tell me, you're trying to get these other farmers to join, but what are some of the benefits? So I'm a farmer, and you want me to join. Tell me, sell it to me.
What we're really doing right now is to get a voice for the farmers, because you find that there are projects and so that are out there to benefit the farmers, but yet the farmers they know about these things and they had no input with these projects. So this is something that we actually are fighting for, that if the government going to roll out something, we know that the farmers will have their print on it. That's what we're actually fighting for. And we actually need to raise the sector. You know, we want the sector to be in the state that we contribute to GDP. We want to build the sector. Because we realize that St. Kitts and Nevis right now, we depend on tourism, right? That's a single industry. But agriculture have the potential to offer a lot to this country. So we want to make agriculture as part of the pillar of economic development. We want to put agriculture on the forefront, economic development. That's what we're thinking about.
So do you guys have like a set list? So you said, there are things that the government wants to implement and you guys want to be a part of that. Are there things that are already in existence or things that are coming down the pipeline? What are these things?
Yeah, we have a list of things that we go to the government with, but because we are negotiating, I don't really want to go too much into them. But one thing is that we are looking to get capital for farmers when I say capital, I mean not $20,000 and so serious money invest into the sector so that farmers will have access to good sum of money to farm. That's one thing we actually want to lobby for. And then the marketing, because you look at it, the import bill is very high. And most of the stuff that we imported, we could grow them here. But while we grow them here, we can't get into the market because they bring them in. So one thing we want to do is to be able to control the local market. I think we share in the local market maybe just about 20%, or maybe less. But if we could occupy 50, 60%, why not?
When you say control, what do you mean? Like, so are you providing a proposal to the government to say, well, look, these are the things that we can provide, but you guys keep importing them. So how are you going to propose that? I'm trying to figure out, like, if let's say I'm on the government, how are you going to get me to accept this and implement it?
Everything still, we actually still negotiating with the government, but this is what we're saying. If we are in a position to produce these things, we need to know that there will be a market for them.
Right.
Right? So if it's laws the government have to put in place to protect us, so be it. But we want to know that when we produce these things, we have a market to sell we produce.
Well, the thing that occurs to me, given that question she just asked about maybe raising our input, raising our agricultural output, and at the same time having some of the similar goods coming in from the outside. Now, most people would say that we generally can't compete on a level playing field with a lot of the produce that comes in that tends to be heavily subsidized.
Yeah.
So, is there a push to get the government to increase subsidies? Take, for example, I had a discussion with someone on Monday, and they were telling me that, greenhouse-free systems are very expensive.
Mm. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, wouldn't it go a long way to get the government to significantly increase subsidies for those kinds of systems, given the fact that we have the monkey problem? So if the government can help to reduce the cost for a lot of the infrastructure that you need to do farming efficiently, and reduce losses from monkeys and feral animals and all this kind of thing, that would go a long way to making the local choice actually tenable compared to the dirt cheap stuff that comes in. So
that's what the consortium is all about. We sit down with the government and put things in place. So subsidies, and so we will go and negotiate on behalf of the farmers the subsidies, what we want to see subsidized. The government do subsidize things. We agriculture is subsidized here in St. Kitts. Land prep.
To Jamster's question,
yes, it could be more, yes.
To Jamster's question, I think, and I think I would have mentioned it before, I heard the minister say that they're starting a greenhouse initiative.
Yeah.
So that's also something you guys are looking forward to and trying to get more, because one of the reasons I thought about that is because of the whole monkey issue that you guys are having. I'm not saying that the monkeys can get into there, because I see like they're brilliant, right? But is that something that you guys are also pushing towards? Is that something that you guys, kind of tug the government's arm and say, hey, this might be the way to go?
That's again where we talk about the farmer's voice. So the consortium is actually lobbying for the farmer's voice. Because here is a program that the government planning to implement. But where was the farmer in it?
Right.
Okay. Troy, you want to take this call? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Farm report, you're on the air. Go right ahead.
Yes, my good friend there, Troy, and the nice voice lady, and the best DJ in the world. He give us a mix. Troy, I want you, as an agriculturist, take a ride over to Nevis and look at what that young boy Banky is doing. He invite me over there. I haven't been there, but all who are sent there, give him 150%. And this is where we want in St. Kitts. We don't want you all to come in the public and telling us no more about you want government and the minister. I am meant to see these people. And if it demonstrates, we have to demonstrate for you all to sit down in meetings and we get this thing right. Agriculture is the way to go. And I'm warning you, and I'm warning other small farmers, go and talk to the man, because I previously talked to the guy. I know the guy well. I know his mother. I know his whole family. And he the tester. I hear all kind of rhetoric on the road. And I challenge him on it. He even showed me posts where he posted individual farmers. I don't know like what some is doing. Don't tell the lies. If you all engage him, and he's a busy guy. Because what this job ain't easy, It's not easy. So try. I know you well. I know you mean you well. I know agriculture dear to your crown and your head and the sole of your feet. Please to engage this guy. The question of social security, I haven't done quickly, but I want to touch it. I went down the road to tap up my phone. Cecil Bull, like Roberts, talk about this and the circus bench since in 95. What we can expect coming from youngsters? You heard about a woman named Ruby Taylor? She never used to play. When it comes to collection into social security, people have, she never used to play. My good friend Ruby in the United States. This is Jam Long here talking. And these are the kind of people in there. She had a team. The young man won her down somewhere down Challengers. She had a team. You have a young man down there. He trying to pay not much. Politicians lose these people hand. The country is open. People can't
if his credit ran out, but oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Thank you for that call.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, as you speak about Banky, Banky is actually listening to this program. He indicated to me that he'll be listening. So, and he also extended an invitation to myself to visit him.
So for us that are not aware, who's this Banky person? What is he involved in?
I never met Banky person, but he actually worked in the Department of Agriculture over in Nevis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was a farmer that was doing some kind of
okay.
Yeah.
different type
He
of
work in,
farming.
No, he worked in the
We have
ministry.
another call. Farm report for Troy Flanders. Go right ahead.
Hello, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
Yes, this is Journey here. Now, we have a lot of GMO import food that are coming to our supermarkets. Now, they are also neutralized. They are produced in America and Europe. For the farmer there, I want to focus his attention on something that I came across on social media from Bill Gates, who said Europeans can afford organic. GMOs are being pushed on Africa because they can afford GMO. In a sense, in my opinion, what Bill Gates is saying, let us give Africans, and let me hasten to add, Africans globally, GMO. Now, what does GMO and neutralized foods and food do to our immune system? Now, here we know that we were given an order by the Most High that says, you shall eat of every herb of the earth. There is no culture out of agriculture. We are eating flesh today. What does flesh do? Flesh becomes acid in the stomach and it breaks down iron. We are made of iron. We have to eat alkaline food. And the only way we can do that is for our government and the minister to get seriously involved for us to produce our alkaline food. Alkalinity builds our immune system. Eating flesh, meat, fish, raw fish, as we are now adapting to sushi, breaks down iron. It's a recipe for disease, mucus for one. I remember, say, 15, 20 years back, there used to be a commercial on television where a lot of American kids, along with some black kids, drinking milk with the milk around the rim of their mouth, and it said, milk, it does the body good. And that looks so attractive that today we are cooking with lots of milk in heavy cream to make our macaroni pie, our scalloped potatoes. All these are recipes for disease in our body. So I am supporting the farmer there, and I'm begging. There's a farmer that cries out every day, almost every day, that his farm are being trodden by cattle and pigs and monkeys. And you're telling me that the minister is not hearing this guy cry? I think his name is Troy. The minister is not hearing this. And we have to just ban everything that is coming from abroad. Today they are telling us that water is going to be the most expensive commodity. Are they predicting that they're going to create drought? Because I know they are capable of it.
Okay, caller.
Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you so much for your call.
Well, to the caller's point, tell me a little bit about some of the proposals that you guys plan to put to the government in reference to irrigation systems and water management and so for farming.
Yeah. See, we're talking about the GMO, and so we actually grow very healthy food here. The food is healthy. The GMO seeds and some may come. it's less chemical we use. To
Okay.
But
Troy,
to talk about the proposal.
You want to hold? We have
Yeah.
two calls.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Farm report. Go right ahead.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Troy. This is Kashai.
Good morning, sir.
The guy on name is Banky. He's in control about 30 or 35 acres of land down in down. I forget what the name of the place. They get all kind of fruits and all kind of thing like that. He does not just only work in agriculture department. He works out on the field itself. But talking to Mr. Journey, the name of the person is Kashai. What they're calling for?
Cash Roy.
So, Kosh, you're joining the consortium.
I'll call you Troy after the program.
Okay. Are you calling? Are you joining the consortium?
Yes.
Good.
Definitely. Good.
You know, I was just referring to drip lines. I have irrigation on my farm, but presently now, it's about 20 cat-like counters now coming continuously breaking down my farm. And it's like we, the farmers, are not supposed to go and meet the Minister of Agriculture. He's supposed to make it his personal business to meet all of us one time in a meeting, and that has not yet done from since after elections. Like it's an insult to us, a slap in our face and everything. Let somebody call me because time is very short. Good morning.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for your call.
Go ahead, Troy.
Just before that, this is the guy that calls in every day, right?
Yeah.
And there's supposed to be a law against that because the cattle, they're not wild. They're owned by someone. So I would want to know if he has reported it and if he has had a conversation or the police has had a conversation with the owner of the cattle. Because it's one farmer basically putting another farmer through hardship.
Yes. Let's take another call. Farm report. You're on the air.
Yes. I know Candisie alluded to it, and I know that the consortium is in negotiation with the government. But can you give us just 3 things that can make a difference in the short term to our production? Because it seems like every year we're back at the same place, and nothing of significance seems to get done. So if you could just give us a short list of 3 things that you think would make a difference right away. And do you all are crop farmers, I guess, essentially. Do you view the monocrop marijuana production as a threat, since you would be competing for essentially the same land and water resources and so on? Those are the questions.
I like that last question.
Well, we never think about the marijuana because I think you got to be able to eat before you deal with marijuana. So 3 things is off the bat. We talk about access to funds, and that way we could buy whatever equipment, and so we talk about irrigation and that, and we actually speak about when it comes on chemicals, sourcing chemicals from different suppliers, and so all these are things. So we won't have no hiccup, and so because we view it that if we're able to have adequate funds, right? Most of the things that government provide for the farming community, if you have the money, you don't have to wait on the government, because a farmer can start to prepare his land. If he have the adequate funds, he will buy his supplies. So maybe, let's say a 6-month supply. So he won't have no hiccup. You won't worry about chemical, worry about fertilizer. When you put in your crop, you don't have these things there on the ground. So that will help with production. That will help you to be consistent.
How does the consortium intend to address the problem of, say, bulk storage and making sure and reducing spoilage and so? Because I know some produce, they have to be stored a certain way.
Yeah. All storage and so all this is part of the negotiating and so.
Okay.
So until we sit down and have a proper discussion, but all these are things we outline. We meet with the farmers and we listen to their complaints, we note them, right, and then we put everything together. Because, the complaint going to be vary, but we put the most important one first. Because we might go to the government, we might be able to get one so one for now because the government operate with the budget.
Right. So my question is, so you said you listen and you document, right?
Yeah.
Is there like a trend? Is it that most of the farmers are experiencing this one issue? I remember some of the first visitors we had were complaining about fertilizer. We've had this one caller calling in on basically every show complaining about cattle destroying his farm. So is it that you guys at some point in time are facing the same issue and then that determines like the priority level? So what, for instance, is like a top issue that most farmers are facing?
Most of the issue the farmers face will be capital, water, monkeys.
Wow.
Then marketing also. So these are things you hear repeatedly.
Okay. You said capital, right? Give me an idea as to whether you guys, when you're in the consortium, do you hold like classes, training, like do you teach people how to do a budget? Because what would be a good startup capital for someone who wants to get into farming? So say, for instance, I wanted to get into farming. I have the land and I decided, okay, I'm going to go into farming because of food security and all the other, benefits. What is a good starting capital?
It depends on
what I want to plant.
Yeah.
All right. Let's say I wanted to plant lettuce.
For lettuce, you need enough money for the land prep, and you go look at consecutive crops. So it depends on the scale you want to go on. So if you say I want $5,000 to start a lettuce, you got to know the scope in which you want to go into it, right? Mm-hmm. So, because to do that, you got to have crops consecutive backing up. So you need enough funds to secure at least 3 to 4 planting.
Okay.
Right? And then the land prep and everything. So with that, you're going to know exactly what you want in terms of startup capital, fertilizer and everything.
Right. Is this something that you guys offer in the cooperative? Like, because I was asking, like, what are some of the benefits? And apart from having like a unified voice, is this something that you guys...
This is something we plan in the future, but the consortium is just coming together. But all these are things we already discuss in meetings. We'll have seminars and training and everything.
Oh, I intended to ask if that was something.
Right, because, I often feel like that's where the disconnect is. And I remember one of the other farmers was saying that, like, you have to see farming as a business. Right? You don't just get up and decide, I'm going into farming. It has to be a business. Because, so what happens, and you mentioned it just now, crop rotation. So I pluck the first set and I sell it. And then what, right? So I know you mentioned 3 to 4 things of it, but that was one of my concerns. Are we all on the same page as it relates to farming? Is it that there's a young farmer, he's going through a difficulty? Are you guys actually there to train, to help, to support? Pigs take over his farm, what happens then? Is that a benefit of being in the cooperative? Is that something you guys offer? And how?
Not cooperative. Consortium.
The consortium.
The consortium having cooperative.
Right. So the consortium is a bunch of cooperatives trying to work together.
And individual farmers.
All right. So tell me how that works. And I guess this goes back to the benefit question. Yeah. So if I join, I get support.
Joining the consortium. What we discuss in our meetings is that the time will come when we'll offer training, we'll offer, just moral support, we'll offer exchange from farm to farm and so. So like the farmers who are more advanced will be able to visit another farm and give their expertise and so.
How practical it is to incentivize farmers joining the cooperative by saying, for example, we're going to be on an ongoing basis trying to get funding for various things, so we might be able to fund a particular thing you might be doing. You think that it's something you could incentivize and actually realize that in the future?
Yeah.
Okay.
What our vision for the consortium is actually to see just like an NGO thing set up and
okay.
That's the vision for it.
Okay. Another criticism the farmers got on Monday, I was talking to one of my mentors. I always have these long conversations with them. He was saying that one of the problems he has when he goes to, say, on the strip to buy vegetables, a lot of these guys, he said, they don't scientificize their prices, meaning they don't sit down and work out a formula to say, well, he's like, I'm selling my stuff for $5 a pound no matter what, even though there's a million tons on the market, I'm not dropping my price. And he's right, because I've seen that. How do you intend to address that? Because I'm thinking one of the first things that should be done, as far as what Candy was saying about finances and budgeting, you have to figure out what
market price.
Yes, market price. And yeah, you're going to figure out the elasticity and see how far you can go with the price to make a profit. But to his point, he's saying that a lot of the times, even when a glut, people refuse to drop their prices. And what he's saying is that the prices seem to be arrived at in an arbitrary manner, as opposed to based on what Candy was saying.
Is that something you guys discuss?
We discuss. That's where training come in. You will know production costs, and so how much it actually costs you to go 1 pound of something. So you should know how to set your price. That's something we're discussing.
I mean, but to Jams's point, right? It's hard to control, because you might come together and we say, okay, a bag of these peppers should not be sold for more than $5, right? So you could start $4.99, $4.89, $3.20, But is that something that you guys actually discuss or plan to get out there?
That's when, because most of the people who selling are maybe not farmers.
Okay.
Right? Those are people who...
They want to make a profit, so they're buying it cheaper from you guys and then putting on their price. So it's cheaper to come directly to the farmer then?
Well,
all farmers are not selling though?
No. Our farmers are not selling retail, they sell wholesale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? It's been very informative having you on the show this morning. I'm happy to hear that you guys are making headway and that you are actually, able to consult with the government. So hopefully the next time you come back, we'll get some good news.
Hopefully. It might not be me, but so for some reason, some of the farmers are shying away from the program. But if
when they start to see results.
Yeah, if I have to do it again, I'll do it. But it's other people out there with me, so it might be somebody else next week.
We look forward to another guest next week.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for joining us today.
I thank Winning FM also for the opportunity.
Awesome. Good luck in your negotiations, and see you next week on Farm Report.
Yeah, tell me how the numbers go, if I send enough the numbers.
Let's see. Yes. Let's check.
Okay. All right,
thank you.
9:33. We got Sankey's Music Festival talk next.
Do you want to improve the quality of your water? Is buying bottled water costing you a fortune? Say no to bottled water and yes to Tap Water Caribbean and Espo Water Solutions. We offer eco-friendly filtration products such as our Ultra Filter or our Bottle Pro for at home or on the go. Fill up anywhere. We also have a Shower Pro designed to protect and give you healthy skin. Visit us today at tapwatercaribbean.com or on Facebook and Instagram. Let's drink clean, pure, healthy water together. Remember, go green, save money, and save our planet. Do you want to improve the quality of your water? Is buying bottled water costing you a fortune? Say no to bottled water and yes to Tap Water Caribbean and Espo Water Solutions. We offer eco-friendly filtration products such as our Ultra Filter or our Bottle Pro for at home or on the go. Fill up anywhere. We also have a Shower Pro designed to protect and give you healthy skin. Visit us today at tapwatercaribbean.com or on Facebook and Instagram. Let's drink clean, pure, healthy water together. Remember, go green, save money, and save our planet.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Hey kids, drink healthy!
Reduce sugar chubby with the same great taste. Lots of magic fruity flavors, drink the more healthy way.
It tastes so yummy, chubby, chubby, chubby.
25% less sugar chubby. Be active, be healthy, drink lots of chubby. Kicking football, playing cricket, having fun in the sun.
It's chubby.
Reduce sugar chubby keeps you cool and refreshed.
It tastes so yummy, chubby,
It's 9:36. Island Tea continues. And we've got St. Kitts Music Festival Chairman Alistair Williams on deck as we talk St. Kitts Music Festival 2023.
Awesome, and good morning, and welcome back, and welcome, Mr. Williams. You're no stranger to us, Mr. Alistair Williams. He is the chairman of the St. Kitts Music Festival, and he is here in studio with us today just to give us some insight as to what's been taking place and what we can expect. So how are you this morning?
I'm very well, thank you, and thank you for having me and for giving me the opportunity to dialogue with your guests as we move into the 25th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival. Definitely.
And so can you remind us again who will be performing in this year's St. Kitts Music Festival?
Okay, so as you know, in March, early March, we released our first wave of artists, and they were Chronics, Skinny Fabulous, Air Supply, Valiant, Coffee, Patrice Roberts, Byron Messiah, Skilly Bang, Governor, and of course the Grandmasters Band. Then quite recently we followed up at a press conference with the Honorable Minister, and we released the second wave of artists that would more or less complete the roster for this year. We introduced persons such as Nitcha B, the 313 Family, Akaya Sweet, Statics, Erica Edwards, Collision Band, Small Axe Band, TJ, Anthony B, Nyla Blackman, Romain Vogel, Kest the Band, Preedy, No Vibes, Mr. Bagnall, Ricardo Joe, Grams Morgan, Dexter Daps, and Burna Boy, who is presently one of the most sought after recording artists in the world. So that is pretty much what the lineup looks like to date. We may or may not add someone else, but to date, that is what we have for the 25th anniversary of the festival.
Wow, quite a mouthful. So I know this year the Minister, Honorable Marsha Henderson, wanted us to venture deeper into the St. Kitts Music Festival. So what does she mean by venture deeper?
Well, venture deeper, that is the SKTA, the St. Kitts Tourism Authority's tagline, and where visitors are invited to immerse themselves into everything, Kittitian, everything that is St. Kitts. And so we want to give our visitors that opportunity to get to know us better. And most of them coming nowadays, the research have shown that they want to know you better. They want to be able to partake in everything that is local, everything that is truly Kittitian. So that is what Venture Deeper seeks to do, to put our visitors more intact with our food, our culinary, our culture, our history. So we want them to be well-rounded as far as St. Kitts is concerned. So the Venture Deeper campaign seeks to do just that, and St. Kitts has so much to offer. So it is about increasing our numbers by getting them to come and get to know us even much better.
Nice. I actually like it. I love the whole venture deeper idea. Now, one of the things that I've noticed looking at the list of acts, there are a lot of local acts, probably the most we've ever had. So how many are they?
I think we have just about 10, just a little about 10 local acts. It's about 39% of the roster. And over the years, we have tried our best to try and create an awareness about our local artists, upcoming artists. We have created a platform for them to be able to ply their trade, so to speak, and giving them the opportunity to perform alongside some of the peers, whether it's regional or international peers. The ultimate goal of the festival, of course, is tourism, and it's about putting heads in beds. But at the same time, when we started out, we recognized that there wasn't really a platform for our local artists, and so we thought that this is a good opportunity for us to create some awareness to assist them in their development and so on. So we built in a component, so to speak, to feature our upcoming local artists and musicians. So over the years, we have done, I would say, an admirable job in assisting our local artists as they grow in this business. And so this year, being the 25th anniversary, we thought that we'd do a little extra and add a few more. So if you realize on every night, there's some local component. But it doesn't stop there, because the run-up to music festival, when we do our fringe activities, we will feature other local acts as well. And there's a strong possibility also, even at the venue during the nights of the festival, we'll also feature whether it's folklore or some more local artists once the space provides for it. So there's ample opportunity for us to really showcase what we have here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
I absolutely love it, and it ties back into the whole venture
deeper, most certainly.
I really like it, and I'm sure the artists, I know from in particular Erica Edwards is excited. I follow her on social media, and I saw her post a video. She was screaming, she was totally excited, so I'm so happy for them.
Yes, and that is what we aim to, and not just local, but because as a festival we have always tried also to promote the region as well, our regional talent, because at the end of the day, the Caribbean as a region, we are competing with other regions in the world and so on. So, if we work together, we'll have a even better product to really sell to the other parts of the world, to market to the other parts of the world. So we've tried over the years to include many of our Caribbean brothers and sisters as well. And of course, we do that with international as well, but we try to bring to our patrons a complete package. So regardless of age range, or demographic, so to speak, there's something for everyone. So I think that is one of our success over the years, is our formula. Mm-hmm. People love the way how we put the show together, and it's diverse, so there's something for everyone. So even if a family can come to the festival and enjoy it, because there's something for the younger members of the family as well as the older members of the family. So we've prided ourselves with that diverse formula that keeps patrons coming back year after year.
Right, I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, we were made to understand that you moved the festival, and this year it is going to return to the Warner Park Stadium. Why?
Well, Warner Park is a historic site. As you know, we moved to Warner Park, I think it's in 2008, if my memory is correct, from Fort Thomas, where we started out. So in 2008, we moved to Warner Park, and then several years later, we went to the Kim Collins Stadium. But we are back in Warner Park this year. We feel that Warner Park, as a modern facility, it was designed to accommodate large international crowds. There's quite a lot of amenities at the park, amenities that are necessary for a successful festival. So in the whole infrastructural built out, it is much easier to operate at Warner Park, less expensive, as I might add, and given that the festival is a huge undertaking and an expensive undertaking, we try as much as possible to see how we can cut costs in order to ensure that our patrons, at the end of the day, get the best benefit. And as you see, for this year, we have taken the decision not to increase the entrance fee, even though our operating expenses have skyrocketed. We took this decision to keep the entrance fee at the meager $50 because we want to ensure that every Kittitian, every Nevisian, and of course our visitors from overseas get that opportunity to see, world-class performers, in one area. And so, we want to make sure that we give them that opportunity. So that's one of the reasons why we have gone back to Warner Park, so that we can control expenses to some extent, so that we can pass on those benefits to our patrons. And it is in Bastia, so it's easily accessible. We have ample parking. So there's a lot of plus for going back to Warner Park. And we hope that our patrons will enjoy the facility. Of course, we are in discussions with various providers to transform the whole area. So we want, from the time you enter the gates, you feel the vibes of the festival, you feel the excitement, and so the performances will just be an added incentive,
Awesome.
as you enter Warner Park. So we feel that it will be a glorious experience.
Well, I'm excited. But I noticed that you said you guys hadn't increased the ticket price. And I'm happy for that. I'm sure no one is complaining. But we also know that it is a costly event. Just having to put together, in my background as an event planner, I already know how that works. But how do we as a people truly benefit from hosting the St. Kitts Music Festival?
Well, the festival, let me go back, because when we started this journey back in 1996, we wanted to produce a unique event, one that will bring benefit to our people, and at the same time promote brand St. Kitts in the marketplace. And so we came up with the idea of a festival. Now, our research have shown that, and as our last impact assessment, I think, was in 2018, and all of the evidence have shown that the festival is working, it's doing what it was intended to do, and ultimately it is to put heads in beds, because as I mentioned earlier, it's about tourism. So our first objective is to bring visitors into the country, and to increase occupancy in the hotels. And by doing so, you'll have the trickling effect. So you'll be able to impact the livelihoods of the hotelier, the hotel workers, the restaurant workers, car rental agencies, even down to makeup artists, hair braiders. So it's a whole host of individuals and businesses that are impacted by the festival. Our last assessment showed that the festival provides over 2,000 jobs. Just by that short period of time, it provides about 2,000 jobs. So that is a huge impact on the economy. So it creates quite a lot of economic activity in the Federation. And remember, it is at a time when our tourism season is at a low, because that's when the season would have ended. And so, we wanted to, way back in 96, to create a window for our hospitality workers, most of those persons who benefit and make their livelihood from tourism, to be able to gain some income during that soft period. And so that's why the festival was created. And it continued to work during that soft period for all of these individuals. So it's the entire economy feels the impact, both the macro and micro levels so quite a number of individual businesses, as I indicated, benefit from the hosting of this festival. And not only that, what I have found over the last several years, that even volunteers participating in the festival were able to go on and do their own thing. They started different events, not only events as a promoter, but also they were able to support some of the existing events with some sort of service, some sort of product, and so on. So it has helped to upskill persons as well over the years, and at the same time also improve some of our local artists, musicians, because we've seen some of them gone on to be doing some great things regionally, internationally. And we believe that the end goal is to make sure that at some point we have an artist or several artists out there who are recognizable and who is from St. Kitts and Nevis.
I like it. And I'm sure they're grateful for that. And I'm happy that, you guys actually had a vision and it worked, right? Yeah. Now, the minister stated that this year the festival will be 420 friendly. And I think that has been a burning topic for everyone, myself included. When she said that, I was like, interesting. So tell us what that entails.
Okay, well, you know, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, they are seeking to establish a medical cannabis industry. And the minister has put in place a small working committee to explore ways on how we can establish a 420 friendly area at Music Festival. And it augurs well for tourism because quite a number of visitors come to the various destinations because they want to experience, you know, those kind of things and so on. So we don't want to be left behind. So we are venturing, as we said, venture deeper. So we are venturing into the medical cannabis industry. The music festival will be a sort of pilot project to see, you know, how best we can maneuver our way in the whole scheme of things. So we want to introduce a 420 lounge or viewing area so that those persons who wish to smoke can do so comfortably. We cannot ignore the fact that it is happening, and there are some of us who want to smoke, and I mean, you know, same way some of us don't like smoking and to be around smoke, and so that is our right. I guess on the flip side, there are those who want to smoke, and so we are trying to see how we can balance, you know, the whole event experience so that everyone is comfortable, everyone gets an opportunity to come and enjoy the festival. So we are creating an area where that can happen, and it won't affect those who do not wish to smoke or to be around smokers. So, I mean, we've had that similar situations with cigarettes when it was at an all-time high. And, you know, areas were created for smokers, you know, even at airports and different public spaces. And so there are areas where one can smoke and so on. So it's no different at the festival. We just want to make sure we create a space so that our visitors, or even locals who are smokers, can be comfortable as well and experience the same St. Kitts Music Festival like all of the others patrons. So we are venturing into that. We are meeting with the relevant authorities. We are meeting in exploring all of the areas to see how best we can ensure that that happens, and it happens where everyone is comfortable and there's mutual benefit.
Awesome. Because I definitely don't want to come home smelling like smoke. You know, it gets caught in your hair, in your clothing, and it's...
Right, so that is why we decided that, listen, let's see how we can accommodate those persons who, you know, wish to smoke. So we create an area that they can be comfortable, and, you know, we're going to make it a nice area. We're going to put in, you know, a screen so that, I mean, it may have a view of the stage, but just in case you want to be more upfront and personal, you know, we are putting in screens as well. So, you know, you won't miss out on any part of the experience at all.
Very nice. Kudos. I'm sure the 420 persons are happy about that.
Well, I'm sure they are elated, you know, and, you know, as a tourism product, I mean, we have to be mindful that we'll be attracting persons from all walks of life, and so we have to make sure that we can, you know, do some adjustments every now and then to accommodate, as long as it is within the confines of the law.
Agreed. Thank you. Now, other than the nights of the festival, what else do you guys have planned during that period?
Well, specific to the period of music festival, apart from the 3 nights of concerts, of course, you know, you have Escape Fete on the Wednesday before. I think that will be the 21st. Yes. And then, of course, there's White Sands on the back end, bringing down the curtain on the Sunday. And we are hoping that this year we can expand the week even more. Well, I must say the period more to a week. So we are thinking about starting the Saturday before the music festival. And we are in conversation with National Carnival. So we are hoping to do a Juve on the Saturday. On the Sunday, we are in conversation with the Ministry of Ecclesiastical Affairs and we are looking to see how we can do something in the gospel arena. As you know, when we started out the festival back in '96, there was always a gospel component on the Sunday. That over time disappeared. So as we celebrate the 25th anniversary, we want to go back to where we started. So we want to see how we can bring back a gospel afternoon or evening on the Sunday prior to. Then you have other private events, such as I think it's Binge, the week of the festival. And we are looking to other private entities to support the festival by doing events in the early part of the week, so that we can have a wholesome week of activities for the 25th anniversary of the festival. So there's quite a number of things. I know in the past we have had things like boat rides and those kind of things happening, scenic railway tours and so on. And more than likely they will happen again this year. We haven't had the information given to us as yet, but as soon as we get information as to some of the other activities that will be happening during the week of the festival, we'll more than certainly share it with all of our patrons or all of our listeners, viewers, whether on social media or other traditional channels.
I must admit, I'm happy to hear some of the things that you guys have listed. It's just yesterday, I think, or Monday, I was having a conversation with somebody and I was like, remember when they always used to bring like a gospel singer and just insert that person somewhere? And then we actually did notice that was missing. So I'm happy to hear that you guys are trying to bring that back and that it's going to be happening. Hopefully your talks with the Ecclesiastical Affairs Ministry pans out and we do have something like that. It's good to have the fringe events before and even after. Because it's more inclusive. People, whatever it appeals to them, because some people might not even go to the festival, but they will definitely partake in some of the fringe events.
Yeah,
so
most certainly.
Definitely happy to hear that.
Okay, we have about 2 minutes left, but I just wondered what you thought about this question. I've been actually saying that I feel that the St. Kitts Music Festival should be entering a period of what I call, well, not a period. I really think that we should be exploring differentiation because I think we've had a pretty good track record over the 25 years where we have booked artists that have never performed anywhere else in the Caribbean. I remember going to Barbados and having people tell me when they found out I was from St. Kitts and they were excited. I remember that particular day, they were excited about who we were having. It's like, boy, we never get those kind of artists here. And this is Barbados. So when you consider what the original mission statement of the music festival was, I wonder if it wouldn't be a good idea to really double down on differentiation. What that would mean is that you would have to probably have significantly more expensive artists. What that does is that it increases the multiplier effect. So yeah, you might not necessarily make back, let's say, the 3 million over the 3 days at the door. But the point is, if you're bringing artists that aren't performing anywhere else in the Caribbean, you're spending more money, but at the same time, the multiplier effect is greater. And the cachet of the St. Kitts Music Festival increases. What are your thoughts on that going forward?
We've always welcomed those kind of ideas. And as I think I indicated earlier on, as the years go by and as the festival develop, we have to reinvent. As a matter of fact, I think it's just this week we had a similar conversation to what you are talking about, and you said it quite rightfully that, we have introduced some artists on the Caribbean festival lineup that, we were the first to do it. I remembered when we ventured into hip hop and rap and those kind of things. Some of the other festivals at the time never did have any of those kind of artists. For instance, one of the first we brought was DMX, and till now there are quite a number of visitors who come to St. Kitts Music Festival. I remember out of Guadeloupe, the French islands, the thing that used to draw them was the hip hop and the rap. That was the thing, So, and it was interesting because it wasn't even younger demographic. It was an older demographic, and they told us, listen, that's what they want. They want to hear those
I
kind of
have
things.
indeed met quite a few Guadeloupans visiting for Music
Right.
Fest.
So we aim and we try to reinvent, and at the same time we try to stay ahead of the competition. Why we have managed to stay on course for 25 years, because as you know, when we started out in 96, there was quite a number of festivals. Almost every island had a festival. Today, we are one, I would dare to say that we are by far the oldest from the original set of festivals that started out at that time. As a matter of fact, most of those festivals that started out with us, they eventually adopted our formula because they recognized that, listen, because at the time in 1996, most of the festivals were really jazz, jazz based. And, we were the only one who decided that we're not going that route. We're going to more or less have a music festival so that we have the opportunity to diversify and to introduce different musical
nice
genres and so on. Right. So I think that is what worked for us over the years, but you made a great point, and it's something that we can look at. But as you said, and we want our patrons to understand that the higher up the tier you go, the more expensive the artists become. As a matter of fact, after COVID, we found that the fees for artists in most cases tripled. So an act that used to cost you 40,000 pre-COVID was costing you 80 to 100,000 post-COVID.
So they're trying to make back that money they lost.
Exactly. So therefore, it is not a cheap undertaking. It's a very expensive undertaking. And the more you get into new genres that we're not accustomed to. I mean, we're talking about exploring. I mean, there are some persons who even said, why y'all don't get into more country, hard rock, those kind of things and so on, because they're, I mean, I remember we brought Kenny Rogers. Well, he made the rounds in the region, but we were one of the first to bring him.
And one of my favorite performances. I love him.
I mean, so we've introduced quite a diverse
I would say
lineup over the years, and I think that's what people love about us. So, and we want to continue doing that, and whatever it would take for us to stay in the marketplace to increase our market share as we go forward, because as I said, the project is about tourism, is about putting heads in beds, and whatever it is that concert goers out there wants to see, that is what we'll have to accommodate as we go forward. So we welcome recommendations, suggestions, and so on as we move forward. This is our first 25 years. So we hope that we can be around for another 25 years, but we can only do so with the help of the members of the public. As a matter of fact, that is what have helped us over the years, because I think one of the things that is important is that we listen to what our patrons, what our visitors. We most of the time we try to do an exit survey, so we get a better appreciation for how people felt about what they experience and so on, because it's important for us to know what they're thinking and how we can improve year after year. So we welcome any suggestion, any recommendation as we move forward.
Thank you. I'm happy to hear that, because I know a good amount of the public, myself included, were rooting for Burna Boy. So, yes.
And I just wanted to point out that, I don't know if you know that, Bobby Caldwell, who we were lucky, we were once again pointing out the uniqueness of the St. Kitts Music Festival. The only time he's ever performed in the Caribbean was St. Kitts. And he passed away about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, my.
Yeah,
a month ago.
A couple months back.
Yeah. And that was a terrific show when he came, So we've had some great performances here on the St. Kitts Music Festival. Sometimes when I look back, I can't believe that we've had some of these people.
Yes. I know.
As I said, we had them.
Yeah.
So, and we want to create those exciting experiences as we go forward the next 25 years. So we welcome any suggestion, any recommendation, so that we can, tweak if we have to, and see how best we can improve as we go forward.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much for taking time out your busy schedule to come share with us. I think it's timely. Music festival is the buzz right now. It's not going to calm down anytime soon. And we know that you've definitely been busy. But thank you so much for taking time out to come share this information with us this morning.
Thank you for having me. And, of course, I can't leave without, of course, thanking all of the persons, all of the entities who have come forward year in, year out to support the St. Kitts Music Festival. We can't do it alone. We need the support of all of these entities, our huge cadre of volunteers who come in every year to support the festival. In some destinations, it's a paid job. We are fortunate in St. Kitts. We have quite a number of persons who are willing to volunteer their time and their efforts. And so we want to thank them for staying the course with us over the past 25 years and to let them know that, we are appreciative of what they do. And, we're looking forward to their support this year, but not just this year, but as we go forward. So the many business places, WINNFM included, they have been with us for several years, so we want to thank them for their support, their firm support. And because we can't do this project without the media, because the media is very, very important, especially as a tourism product. We need the media to take the word out there and to let people know what is happening in small little St. Kitts.
Okay. Alistair, before you go, just to reinforce a point that the Tourism Authority had pointed out, and you were thanking the contributors, and we know American Airlines used to be a sponsor a long time ago. But he pointed out that this is the first time American Airlines is actually going to be putting on extra flights specifically for St. Kitts Music Festival. So that might be something you might want to let maybe the overseas people know, that they can get bookings and so on.
Well, most definitely they have put on 2 extra flights, but I must tell you that those 2 extra flights is already saturated.
So I heard the minister say.
As a matter of fact, I'm happy to say that the festival have done so great over the last 25 years that folks no longer waiting to hear who's coming. They know it's going to be a great experience. So they have, as a matter of express event, the site went down after the last launch of the final wave of artists. It's crashed because the amount of persons try to get in and so on. Wow. But generally speaking, we've been following the bookings as far as seats are concerned, for most of our ELF, and we were at a saturated point since 1 or 2 weeks ago. So right now, we don't want our potential visitors or returning nationals overseas to give up and be discouraged, because then we still want them to visit the travel agent or try to book, because then obviously if the airlines see that there is a need, chances are they might
provide more flights,
provide either more flights or bigger aircraft, as the case may be. I've seen it happening in some other islands. But the objective is to try and see how we could get as many persons as possible to come down. So, yes, they did increase the seats into St. Kitts by adding 2 extra flights, but those 2 flights, they are booked already. But we want you to still try, go online, and if you can, or your travel agent, check out your travel agent and see how best we can get you here into St. Kitts for the 25th anniversary of the St. Kitts Music Festival. It's going to be an experience like no other.
It will.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alistair. And of course, we're probably going to have you back before.
Most certainly. Okay.
Well, thank you so much. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Island Tea this morning. And we will meet you back here tomorrow for some more Island Tea. Have a great day, guys.